The escort has seen this before, knows the tracks. It's become instinctual. There's a trick to it. You do it or you die. And they had enough of dying a lifetime ago. At last they reached the edge of the forest. In the distance they could see the sun slowly sinking, bathing the world in amber and blood red. At least this looks a little bit more straightforward. I expect looks are deceiving, though. You betcha. It's still dangerous out there. It's worse out there in the dark, too. We didn't see any of the real rough stuff last night. It's fascinating. I never thought I'd see this much of the zone in my life. Look, that stuff over there. That's colloidal gas deposits, right? The misty stuff with the blue fire. And there, where the light is bending outwards. That's an artificial gravity prism. And across the lake over there, do you see it? The old houses. You can see ferocious, grassy. Okay. Diagonal fallout is even in the grass. It goes counterclockwise and reverses the patterns of normal biology outside. See? It's like everything here is isometric. It's all the same, but different, like a mirror. Like a left hand and the right hand. Both the same thing, the same formula, the same makeup, but the arrangement is so different that one can never fit into being the other. Oh my god, there's so much out here. Still dangerous. Yes, but look at it all. Look how beautiful this place is. They all look out across the grassland. Emerald haze and blue smoke, and dashes of fire, and yellow, and crimson, and ash, and purple glow, and chemicals, and burning, and chaos, and war, and freedom, and peace. Sounds like a lot of chemicals and nature. The escort takes a deep breath and grabs her vaporizer. They inhale the fluid. Their cells shift, refocus, dancing in the golden light. Can't say I understand all that science lingo. But you're right, this place has always been beautiful. They take a deep breath, mirror air reflecting inside them, the sensual mixing with the dextro. We should go, we don't want to be caught short at night. There's a village a couple of miles from here. Should be safe there. Don't worry, Doc. No one lives there now, except like others like us. No one here is gonna snitch. No one here can never really go back to the hierarchy. That's a nice little bridge. They walk. The sky changes above them, gold bleeding out into blood red as the last light fades. The escort continues to throw metal nuts at random intervals across the grassland. Last time I checked, if she doesn't do that, I think they fall in like pit traps or something. Magnetic pit traps that, yeah. They retrieve them, but their ears up, wary, focus. The scent of wood smoke and spice and death fills their nostrils. The other two don't notice. They turn, deviate course. It fades. Glimmers of moisture hang to the tall grasses, the white flowers, beads of watery eyes hanging on the wind. They watch, observe, blend. No, not that way. It's too angry that way. Go back 3 paces. Return, forward, but straight to the right. It's sad this way, but manageable. The escort heart starts to pulse in time with the zone as it speaks to them. The soft glances, the small touches, the things no one could see unless they already knew. A flirtation, a moment of time, present then lost, then found again. Outside here, their head felt full of cotton. In the zone, they felt like it all made sense. Like they made sense. Ahead, through an overgrown clearing in the trees, the old road, well, not the old remains of a road, long abandoned. The escort pushes the brambles and thorns out of the way, ignoring the scrapes across their trousers. There are only a few houses and the remains of a medical clinic and a small, dilapidated storage shed. The carcasses of empty, dead vehicles still lie on the roadside, their internals long since gutted for metal, leaving only shelves. The scholar gazes inside. The rotted upholstery still has the traces of psycho silver dotted through. We're here. You guys will want to get ready to make camp. The village is safe. The scholar takes out his full cult Geiger radiation counter. The soft burst of static picking up as he waves his scanner across the area. He frowns. Safe-ish. The scholar frowns more. The doctor shrugs, moves forward into the skeleton of the clinic building, and shrugs her bag off her shoulders. A little bit of dialectical fallout is worth the risk. The scholar also places his bags down, carefully. He reaches into a pocket and grabs a camera and some small stencil-like instruments. Now, I can explore the abandoned buildings with the doctor or set up camp with the scholar. The escort did say set up camp, so I should probably... but who, is this for me? Oh, this is for the escort. But if I go explore with the doctor, I'll leave the scholar to set up camp, and I don't necessarily trust him to do that all by himself, so we'll set up camp. The escort drops their bag and just outside the clinic, letting the doctor cautiously explore. Then let her pace through. She seemed careful enough. But that will leave her. She's already injured too, so... if I didn't make the wrong decision. He looked at the scholar as he brings out a pocket full of metal and meters and speculation, gazing up at the trees and the sky as he writes frantic notes. I don't think you're gonna find your answers in the grass, Nerd King. Well, actually, there's a thing. You can. Chronobiology, and isometric ethnomorphology? I special interest of mine. Yeah, you are the Nerd King, cause what was that? There's so much of it all here. It's so widespread and just everywhere. I've never seen such diversity of life and form and expression. I've traveled so many places looking for just a glimpse of something like this. And honestly, there's really nowhere else in the world that you can see this sort of thing. At least, not so widespread, not so vividly. It's intoxicating to see so much. Like, just look, you can still see a little bit of the red forest from here. And already you can see the shift, right? The movement, switching, circling back on itself. It's not really a true ultradian rhythm exactly because it doesn't cycle. But it's always different to when you see it last. Even when it's exactly the same, compositionally. This dude is testing my pronunciation to the max, but that's fine. I like a little challenge. But it's somehow still kind of changed. Like it's the same thing seen through a different lens. I've been wanting to try and record down at least a few versions of it to track the shift. And God, I'm sorry, I'm talking way too much, aren't I? This girl cocks her head, looking inquisitively at him and at the forest in the distance. It did look different, but always the same. No, it looked the same, but it still felt different. The quality of it and of everything in the zone shifted with the winds. How had he picked up on this so quickly? It'd taken them months to figure that one out. I mean, he's a scholar, right? It's okay. I don't get most of what you're saying, but you're right. Besides, it's nice to see that you're so passionate about something. You're less shy when you're passionate. People are not my strong suit. I feel your sentiments on that, honestly. I feel so awkward around others. It's like I can see exactly what's happening, but can never read the room. It's like they're speaking a different language. And they think I'm speaking a different language when I try to talk to them too. But when I actually talk about things, well, these things, these important things, it's like everything makes sense. Sure. It's like the whole zone makes sense, right? Yeah, exactly. Even when it doesn't. It's like, well, it still makes more sense than a hierarchy. There's so many rules, and so many of them aren't even rules you're told. You're supposed to know. I never know how to know. I just know how to write down what I see. That's why I write down everything. Nestor looks down at the scrawled notes, the barely legible handwriting. It's impossible to understand what is being documented, but there's so many notes and footnotes and sheer enthusiasm. They don't say anything, but they listen and watch, and let the scholar talk more. It feels nice to be part of the discussion, even if they don't understand much of it. The night draws in. The pair wanders a few paces into the grasses and sparse trees. Estor grabs a few sticks, careful to only pick the recently fallen. The rest are left for the zone. They hand the dry wood to the scholar and to carry. After they collect enough, they return, setting up a few rocks to make a campfire. They crouch down, grabbing some dried note paper from their pocket. They slip it under the sticks and bring their ladder below. The tinder quickly catches the light. Wouldn't it be better to use leaves for that? I don't have a lot of paper with me. If you have any spare, I might need it. There's so much here I want to record, and I know I'll forget it if I don't write it down. Nah, it's too dangerous. Too much silver in the leaves. It's a really bad idea to breathe in those fumes. Fallen branches are right enough, though. It bleeds out of them really fast. That's fascinating. Yeah. I wonder why it does that. I wonder too. The hierarchy used to do experiments on silver back a couple of decades ago, but once they realized it could leak into the groundwater, and how catastrophic that could be if people drank the stuff, or if they got into food, because that's where the contamination never fully comes out. And well, they worried that it would cause a full breakdown of society. And they were super worried about the effect it'd have on kids, irreversible damage and all. Even though it only occurs naturally, but it still caused a panic when the hierarchy figured out the effects. I wonder if that explains the red forest. I presume the whole thing was secondary to the fallout. But the silver stays around in leaves. Most of these trees were coniferous. I assume that's how you pronounce it. Escar slowly relaxes back into the process of breathing life into the fire, slowly tuning out the scholar's talk. They were not going to stop talking. No offense to the scholar. Great character, but gee. Doesn't seem to notice for some time, throwing his own theories into the air to guess what will stick. Which I wouldn't mind listening. It's just listening without understanding. That's where I'm like. They sigh softly, feeling the gentle zen dissociation of their task. Oh god, I'm so sorry for talking too much again. I'm an idiot, I never know when to shut up, I'm sorry. Nah, don't be. Nothing to be sorry for. Where's the doctor? Sometimes it's just nice to hear the noise of someone's voice, you know? It's comforting that you know you're not alone. Even if the fancy words don't mean much to you. I'm sorry, I'm a moron. A smart moron. The scholar flushes Scarlet with embarrassment, accusing himself. The scholar flushes Scarlet with embarrassment, accusing himself of being eternally unable to recover from his basic, fundamental flaws. The scholar smiles, trying to convey genuine warmth. Nah, you don't need to be sorry. I mean it. And don't be sorry for being sorry either. That's not how this works. Hold on, let me show you something. You might want to stand back a little though. The escort jumps off into the grasses, grabs a handful of leaves. They sprint back a little too giddy and eager. And maybe don't stand downwind and cover your mouth and nose. So that's a lot of instructions. You want to see the cool stuff the zone has? Watch this. They throw the leaves toward the fire, but instead of sinking, they soar. Carried on the small currents of smoke, they arc high up into the sky. Then one by one, they singe, they burn, then an arcing flare of rainbow prism. Explosions spark between the leaves. One by one, they become pure white and break, the color shimmering in the ashen glow. And I assume that's silver stuff, the silver stuff. The scent of cinnamon and rose-tinted nostalgia fills the night air, illusions of belonging. Oh my god, it's... What? Hey, got you to swear again. Just don't breathe that stuff in too deep. Looks like he did. Or maybe he's just happy. I hope he's just happy. Feels good, but the hangover sure isn't worth it. They both linger a little too long, watching the dancing lights. For a brief moment, they feel innocence. The scholar coughs, stands back, his lungs unused to the twisting chirality. The escort can't help but take one last inhale. Why? Can't blame an addict for getting one last hit and whilst the going is good. They turn back, too giddy, head swimming in the reclaimed past. They lay a hand on the scholar's shoulder, grinning. Oh man, never do that by yourself. I say always have a responsible adult, but I'm not going to claim to be one. Still, I hope it felt good for at least a little bit. It did, God, it did. Well, now I've done the stupid thing too. Maybe you don't have to be so embarrassed for yourself all the time now. I doubt I'll ever feel not embarrassed for myself, but at least we can both be embarrassed losers together. I fully intend to be. The night passes, the wind rustles through the distant trees and grasses, eddies in currents and changes in direction, exploring itself in gentle spirals. Sirens and occasional spits of gunfire sound off in the distance. The last reminders of the life and glitz and pain of the hierarchy so fierce and strong out there, but so quiet and muted here. It all seems so far away. Almost like a dream now. The scholar wakes up through the night and fits and starts fragments of anxious dreams seeping through. There was anxiety, yes, but excitement. Too, a sense of urgency. Like he'd been waiting so long to reach the end of a journey, and the last 5 minutes stretched on more than the previous 5 hours. His heart drums against his ribcage. He falls back into an uneasy sleep. The dawn arrives. The lights stretch yellow and pale and thin across the grassland. The doctor is the first to rise. She neatly repacks her bags and is on her feet and ready to go before the smoke from the campfire has fully faded away. We should get going quickly. I prefer to make most of the daylight whilst we have it. Yes, and I prefer to make most of my time while I have it. But yeah, I wanna pretty much I'm gonna end it here. And yeah, it's been a minute since I've actually played this, and I want to try and allocate my time as much as possible to get all this stuff out here, because this game is really nice, and I'm having a lot of fun with it, and I hope y'all are too. So yeah, this is Ascension Part 2, and I hope y'all enjoyed, and I will see y'all in the next one.